I died on an unbearably cold winter night. There was no moonlight, just a suffocating cave. That wasn't enough for him.
Why, Ryan?
I was dying, but I forced myself to ask him a question. I clung tightly to his collar, refusing to let go.
This is for what all of you owe, Sia.
Sia, that mute girl.
The name felt distant, buried in memories so old. First thing I saw was a full moon hanging in the sky, its silvery light blanketing the earth. A familiar voice echoed in my ears, and I shot upright, my eyes snapping open. There was no freezing cave or biting winds. Instead, I was greeted by the dazzling glow of a crystal chandelier. So brilliant, it made my head spin. The room was warm and filled with the hum of celebration, the clinking of glasses and lively chatter. Outside the window, neon lights flickered. The city bustled with life, and endless streams of cars moved through the night. I stood on a hotel balcony, gazing down at the city that never slept.
Your Highness, are you having one of your headaches again?
I looked down at my hand, slender, unscathed and faintly scented with an expensive perfume. This was my 18th birthday party, my coming-of-age ceremony. I had been reborn. When I turned 18, I had not yet officially become Ryan's mate, nor had we held the moonlit ceremony that symbolized an eternal bond. That year, I had not yet officially become Ryan's mate, nor had we held the moonlit ceremony that symbolized an eternal bond.
Prince Ryan has been making public statements on all the major networks for 3 days now, announcing he's breaking off the engagement with the Snowfoam Pack.
The situation was far more complicated than just a broken engagement. A few days ago, Ryan was ambushed by seclusion, deep in the forest. She was delicate and beautiful. In a desperate attempt to save him, she used a forbidden herb to heal his wounds, which ultimately cost her the ability to speak. Ryan was deeply moved by her sacrifice and brought her back to the main castle of the Alpha King's territory. From that day forward, he declared to the entire pack that she was the only one he would marry. He even went as far as to vow that this nameless, mute she-wolf would one day become Alpha Queen, the queen of all wolves. 3 days ago, I woke up in the Snowfang Pack's palace. 3 days was all it took for me to untangle the truth of both my past and present lives.
Your Highness, Prince Ryan is here.
I turned around and saw Ryan striding into the banquet hall. The murmurs around the room instantly fell silent. He wore a black battle robe, his shoulders draped in the silver-embroidered cloak, symbolizing the Wolf Kingdom's honor. I know this scenario all too well. My first encounter with Ryan and Sia, this time. Ryan and I had grown up together, and our bond had been forged from the time we were children. Our engagement had been arranged early on by the elders of our 2 packs, a pact meant to solidify the alliance between them. But on my coming-of-age ceremony today, he brought another woman, Sia. The young she-wolf who had saved his life was dressed in an expensive gown. Despite her elegant attire and carefully styled appearance, she looked like a small, skittish animal that had wandered into a palace of predators. She clung tightly to Ryan's arm, seemingly unable to stand without his support. Ryan leaned down, whispering something in her ear, his eyes filled with tenderness. Sia's gaze shifted to me, and panic flashed across her face. Then, even the tear hanging precariously at the corner of her eye was exactly the same as in my past life. Back then, I had been utterly deceived by this fragile, helpless act of hers. When she knelt before me, I actually felt pity. I found myself helping her and Ryan, doing everything I could to help them achieve their true love. As the Snowfang Pack's we shared, Sia comes from a lower-ranked wolf pack and is mute. While she saved your life, the elders or the clans may never accept her as Alpha Queen. No matter how hard you try to convince them, it'll only bring her trouble. Slap. The crisp sound of slaps echoed in the banquet hall. In my past life, I rushed forward to help Sia up the moment she knelt. This time, I merely watched coldly as she slapped herself. Hard and without hesitation, the banquet hall was packed with guests today, many of whom were already reaching for their phones, eager to capture the drama.
Your Highness, today is your coming-of-age ceremony. If she continues like this, it will be to your disadvantage. What's the rush? I took a slow sip of my wine, completely at ease.
Selena.
His voice was low and dangerous now, his expression darkening. Saya's cheeks were red and swollen. Tears pooled in her eyes, making her look pitifully fragile. I lowered my head and quietly watched her perform. Yes, Sia was acting. Her muteness was an act. Her delicate, innocent facade was an act. Even her dramatic poison suicide I'd seen her true colors with my own eyes. It happened at a secret gathering where I accidentally stumbled upon her talking to a werewolf alchemist.
Sir, I'm just an exiled lowly she-wolf. How could I survive without using some desperate plays to get into Prince Ryan's good graces? Please, I'm begging you. Give me a potion that can make me appear dead for a short time.
Enough!
The room fell silent. Saya flinched, her body trembling as she slowly lifted her gaze. Her eyes were wide and filled with helpless innocence as she looked at me. Her intentions couldn't have been clearer. I arched a brow and leisurely sipped my wine. Saya noticed my cold reaction. She gritted her teeth and leaned forward, knocked the glass out of my hand.
Selena, don't push it. He growled.
He turned and helped Saya to her feet. He carefully touched her swollen cheek, his expression filled with pain and concern. Selena, apologize. Bow your head. Admit your mistake to her in front of everyone here, and I won't pursue it any further. I lifted my chin slightly, meeting his gaze with a calm, mocking smile. How foolish I was in my previous life. The moment I discovered Saya's schemes, I wrote a secret letter to Ryan. In painstaking detail, I explained how she had been manipulating him, using her feigned fragility to win over the sympathy of the wolf pack elders. I warned him, Saya isn't as simple as she seems. Every step she's taken toward you has been calculated. The very next day, news broke that Saya had poisoned herself to death. Ryan sent me only a single voice message.
Thank you for your reminder, Selena. Those who betray the Alpha King will always face the consequences.
For years, I believed he had confronted Saya, forcing her hand until she consumed the poison for real.
Saya did nothing wrong. I'm the one who chose to marry. I'm the one ending this engagement with you.
I didn't answer right away. I adjusted my gown and began walking toward the elevator. Ryan's footsteps echoed as he quickly followed me.
What are you planning?
He demanded. As the elevator doors slid open, Ryan was still on my heels.
Selena, don't you dare run to the elders to beg for their help just because it's your birthday. I've already promised Saya that I'll marry her. If you voluntarily give up the engagement, I'll ensure the Snowflame Pack is compensated generously.
The banquet hall doors opened, and Leopold greeted me warmly from his seat at the head of the room.
My little princess, what brings you here in such a rush?
The leaders of the 4 great packs sat in their places of honor, and the room was filled with werewolf nobles. With a graceful bow, I addressed them.
Esteemed elders, I'm sure you've all heard by now. Ryan and Miss Saya, savior and hero, love at first sight. So, I ask all of you here to bear witness. I, Selena, Princess of the Snowflame Pack, formally request to dissolve my engagement with Ryan.
Ridiculous!
Now, in the quiet of my father's study, his expression mirrored the Alpha King's earlier fury. However, I remained unmoved. His voice shook with anger.
Do you have any idea what this means? This alliance has been years in the making, built on the hard work of both packs, and you think you can just throw it all away. You'll march right back and apologize. Tell them it was a rash decision made in the heat of the moment.
No.
What did you just say?
I said no. My decision stands.
He drew in a deep breath, his voice dropping dangerously low.
Have you thought about the consequences? Do you think anyone else would dare to marry you after this?
I pursed my lips.
That's not necessarily true.
He jabbed a finger at me, his face contorted with rage.
What, you're out of your mind?
With that, he stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Maybe I was. Without the memories of my previous life, I never would have made the decisions I did today. Since I was a child, I had been raised to follow the rules. Not only would I never have dared to publicly sever ties with Ryan, but I wouldn't even have appeared in front of the many elders in the banquet hall in the past. However, being obedient and following the rules didn't always lead to good outcomes. In the past, Ryan often sent me voice messages filled with sweet words. This time, all he sent was a short message.
Know when to stop.
I let out a cold laugh and threw my phone aside.
Annie, did you receive the gift from Prince Ryan? Yes, there was.
She handed me a velvet box containing a ruby-studded bracelet. I lit up and slipped the bracelet on. Then I stood up and changed into a low-cut evening dress, the kind that accentuated my chest. I closed the door, turned, and walked away. A man stood in the hall. He turned, and his deep blue eyes, hypnotic, unwavering, met mine.
Princess Selena, it's an honor to finally meet you.
He was Ryan's older brother.